Greetings, and also warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm coming on to explore a couple of things. But first, here's the quickie style of the day. So I'm one of those folks that have had a whole lot of acne and hyperpigmentation, and I have very fine hair, come from a family pattern of morbid obesity, and I love to eat. So I'm working with what I got. So I have very, very fine hair. This is what it's doing. They're all flat, and I just came up with this little style yesterday. So this is my new style of the day, my quickie style. So, and you do know I love gold cord. So this is like there's nothing, there's no oil, there's no nothing. So what I did simply for this, and I don't know how to mirror the screen, but I'll just show you what I did. And this is so simple. Maybe I'll grab one of these from the front. So what we're doing today for this little simple style, and everything has to be loose over here because I can't take pain. So this is a different texture of these little rubber bands. I'm not big on rubber bands, but this one is very, very loose. So all I'm doing, right, because my hair is very, very compact, there's no oil or whatever, is I've seen this before, but somehow all the styles never look the same on my very fine hair. So I have to be very genteel. I'm just wrapping it around. And this is an option. I just start to get a little bit of length because I do have a little bit now. And I'm just going to tuck it in the hole. And I'm just going to loosely place this rubber band, this very loose rubber band. Here in my mouth. I'm going to place this around the tip. So this is what I did. And this is very, very, very loose, right? So I don't want to make indentations. So you may want to find that, can't see how, that you may need to take some of these and to tuck them in. So, of course, my hair is very, very, this is my Congo Nati. This was a big fluffy lock one time. Now it's not that. So I just take those little loose pieces and I just twist them in. So I don't have a mirror. I'm relying on the screen. So simple, no oil running down on my face to contribute to acne or on my collar or running down my neck and the heat. Simple, you can make a little adjustments. No pulling at all at the scalp, and I'm still allowing everything to be very flat. And it's only about 30 locks, so that was really quick. So that's my quickie style of the day. I like simplicity. I gotta have other things, to do with my time, and to jazz and snazz it up. I add the gold cord. So I'm Body-Culinary, personal chef, trainer. On this channel, what I love to encourage is peaceful consumption. What that looks like is foods that love you back, that don't leave a whole lot of waste on your waistline, that contribute to your vitality, your energy, your longevity, your mood, your creativity. So those principles I find really allow your patterns and your behaviors to fall in line. So only you know what that sweet spot is going to look like for you. That has been a journey of mine for several decades. So I'm big on making investments, right? You don't wait till you're seasoned in life to make intentional investments into the 401k of your body, right? Your body temple, so that it can serve you when you need it to. Not just what it looks like, not just the skin, but also mentally and emotionally, right? We need nutrition and optimal fuel in order to be able to deal with the stresses that are coming at us. So you'll find what that sweet spot looks like for you. That is a personal journey. I can share with you some of my journey and perhaps answer questions for you. So I am a mom, so I know what it's like to prepare food for a family where you will have mutiny if you're not giving them food that tastes good. So I'm here to let you know you can consume whole, fresh, unprocessed foods as a lifestyle. You'll decide on the ratios if you want it to be all whole living, or you may just be working with where you're at. Maybe you're not used to eating lots of vegetables. I invite everyone to start exactly where you are. So that being said, feel free, if you like, if you find any value here, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel, perhaps share it with someone that could use some motivation. And I'm huge on support. Support works. Support works. One of the biggest tools in my toolbox. The garden, so deeply therapeutic, plus it's, food security is a good thing. A movement practice, a vigorous, joyous, personal movement practice, and peaceful consumption, right? In addition to ease, right? I love luxuriating, but I want ease, right? I don't want anything holding me back when it's time to play. Plus, I'm not interested in stressing myself out, I really like myself, and I want to enjoy my body temple for as long as I have it. So if you find some value here, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You can always comment respectfully in the comment section. I don't have the only perspective. I am a forever learner. So today I wanted to explore guilt, shame, fasting, diet, weight loss, slash what I like to call weight release. There is a full video coaching that is up and available. After this video should be available in a few minutes on body-culinary.com. So it's been a big part of my practice as a professional chef and a personal trainer with a focus on eating healthy, because I'm very clear on what lays waiting for me. And I know I love to eat. I'm not interested in dieting. And just like Grandma Lou, I talk about Grandma Lou all the time. Eating healthfully should be accessible to all of us. It shouldn't have to be expensive. So with everything, there are trade-offs. I can definitely tell you, you will never regret a workout, especially done safely with a bit of education. You'll never regret those deposits made into the 401k of your body temple. You really want this body temple to serve you after you're done working, going through all this college and all the sacrifice. You want your body to be there so that you can run, jump, and play, especially be as pain-free as possible, right? If there's such a thing. So I want to explore just the guilt and the shame, because as a personal trainer, folks are always asking, even as a chef and someone that loves whole living foods and has consumed pretty much primarily living foods for many years exclusively, folks usually think it's about just asking for a recipe or the workout. And while those are huge tools in the toolbox, they can give us access, but usually many of us are not addressing the why of what we eat, when we eat, and how we eat. So something just contemplating why we eat, what we eat, and when we eat, and how we eat it, right? We didn't even get into any labels right there, right? I'm inviting you to look beyond the number on the scale and your clothing size, right? And why, as a professional trainer and a professional chef with a focus on healthy eating, in particular whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods, what I recommend that you don't focus primarily on the number on the scale. Now, there is this place and space of time for that, just to compare and contrast and to see if what your methodology or your approach, if you're being effective. We do want some ways to measure if what we're doing is actually having an effect. So that's where we can find it useful. However, the scale is not addressing the why of what we eat, when we eat, and how we eat it. This is really, really important, so that moving into this next season, you're not on the whole stroll with more diet books and things that, are packing up your shelf with more products and detox programs, but you never seem to get sustainable results. I invite you to consider it's a mentality, the mentality first, or your approach, your paradigm. Could perhaps you have a few blind spots or things you haven't considered, or there are perhaps things that you're not acknowledging, right? So many of us may have maybe we're not even looking at some guilt or some shame. Now, I'm like, you might think, I don't have any guilt or I don't have any shame about anything. However, I invite you to explore what I like to call the backdoor mentality. And the backdoor mentality, what I mean by that is, as human beings, we're not as logical with all our education and technology. We're not as logical as we might think. A lot of our self-sabotaging behaviors and our consumption patterns are coming through the back door, right? Some of the very things we say we don't want to be like, we don't want to do, the guilt and the shame aspect can drive us, right, when we're not feeling good about ourselves, to engage in behaviors that compromise our health and our vitality. These habits and the frame of thinking first are very looping and habitual. Science says that most of the thoughts we have today, we had yesterday. So a lot of our quote unquote waking conscious hours are actually spent looping and relooping old thoughts. Isn't that interesting? So I find it can be very beneficial just to have a basic understanding of how our own human psyche is working, right? As well as understanding how our basic organs. So with a bit of education around how the organs are working, so that we can be objective, right? Not just going with our feelings, because feelings are not always facts. Some kind of education about our psyche, how we're making our decisions, the fears, right? I've discussed on this channel the 5 basic human fears. They say 5 or 6. You can look them up at leisure. It can be very, very beneficial in helping you to understand. Greetings, Carolyn, Jaleesa. How we are engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors, and we can go back and forth, vacillate. I want to change. I want to do this. We could spend a good portion of our lives there. So I invite you to ask some different questions, right? So we can see what the blind spot is. Not what we already know. What we already know has given us the results that we have. However, if you want a different result, I invite you to have a healthy sense of curiosity that perhaps there's something that we're not aware of in our thinking and our reasoning and our mental processing. Perhaps there's certain basic information about how our organs and our body is working that we're not aware of. Right. So then we don't have a sense of urgency about change. We maybe perhaps don't have a sense of urgency about investing in some education, learning how to prepare foods in a different way. One time I would have thought you cannot eat a sweet potato living or raw, but you can. There's some things that you cannot eat raw, like chaya. There's some foods that have, natural foods that have poisons as plants are alive and they're protecting themselves. So just some basic, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. However, investing in some basic comprehensive education can make a huge difference, and also unpacking our feelings around guilt, shame, unresolved trauma, looping trauma that's always running like a TV that never goes off in the background is really driving a lot of our behaviors. So, is there a way perhaps that we can be objective and have access? Like, if I was to come and I'm looking at you, I'm not going to beat you up. I'm just going to observe objectively, right? We don't see ourselves objectively. So, perhaps there's another way, or there's some other ways that we can approach supporting ourselves and our body temples in, because the body's smart, it's intelligent, it's a divine intelligence. The body temple knows how to adjust itself to a healthy weight that supports vitality, um, energy, longevity. See, no labels are required. The body knows what to do. However, we're doing things to, depending on our results, I'm not there with you, to stop or halt those kinds of results. So just unpacking what's going on within our own psyche and our own private moments can go a long way to support ourselves and give ourselves some space to understand what the heck is going on there. There's a lot of guilt and shame connected to a lot of the self-soothing that we're doing quite often with substances. I like to call them substances masquerading as food. Greetings, Io. So a lot of times we're, let's be honest, or not, we don't have to make ourselves bad or wrong. A lot of times we're comforting. Could there perhaps be some other ways that we can comfort ourselves that don't have anything to do with physical food? I can definitely tell you that taking a lot of things out of the way, a lot of clutter, right? This is why I say my hair, yes, I will say in the most practical sense, is a spiritual tool. I don't have to think about this. All the hours of and being in the salon, and I love sister locks, but I just know me. I'm not sitting in the salon. I'm not, I want to play and roll on the floor, as I've said plenty of time before. I have other things to do with my time. So I make the effort to make my lifestyle so that I have as much access as possible to play and other ways to self-comfort and self-soothe without the food. It's been a journey, and more things, I invite you to consider it is an awareness. It's a muscle of what is intangible, something that you can't see, our operating process, right? Our disk operating system. It's an awareness that we can cultivate, and what can give us access, ding, 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 is quiet. And practices that naturally have us calm down and get quiet. And those tools, I'll tell you, a personal movement practice, simple. We do have access to these things. See, we're too busy again with the critical, being like a harsh, mean spirited sometimes, or just no room, just a harsh critic. We don't give ourselves space. We wouldn't do that to a small child. We're not giving ourselves space to process and we're moving a lot of our emotions, and we're moving at such a pace that there's no space to process, and it's too much noise. The music and all the stimulus coming in are actually sets of instructions that your brain has to process. So all of this at the pace we're moving at is going to keep us munching like nervous lab rats, and we're making ourselves bad and wrong, which goes through the back door, which will create more of the same unending behavior. So that is, I'm very passionate about it as someone that has lost pretty much a good amount of all the women in my family, and one of my uncles who was not overweight due to diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. No one wants to be unhealthily overweight. And again, the body, it knows what to do. It's telling us a story. It's communicating to us about whatever it is and our quiet moments that we're putting into it. So the more stuff I get out of the way, if I don't have a whole bunch, I don't need a whole bunch of furniture, just enough for me to play, my little pole and my plants and my toys and my slicers, my aerial silks. I see my stuff so that I can play, room to roll around, on the floor. That's what I prioritize. You're going to have to find what that's like for you. I don't want to worry about hair. I could play with makeup if I want to. I just don't prioritize it. I'm out in the garden. And by the way, I've been in the garden last visit. Yesterday, we got in a whole tray of cabbage, a whole tray of red oak leaf lettuce, half a tray of green leaf lettuce, parsley, lavender. So I'm really excited about that. So a whole, see the things I get excited about. So it's also great quality time spent with self. Plus, it's such a sense of accomplishment that you get in organizing the space of the garden, even if that's a corner inside your apartment or successfully installing your grow lights. I'm telling you, it may sound corny, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I just wondered some of the stuff we're chasing. I think we're missing out on some opportunities for another kind of fulfillment that is not reliant on other people or outside validation, which is why I think it's so important to feel comfortable. We deserve to feel comfortable in your skin. So I know I've said it before. I've decided to take it off the table. Some folks may say, "Oh, you're pretty." It's not a matter, which I appreciate the confidence and positive vibes, but it's really about, I've decided to put confidence and health over beauty, because the beauty is based on somebody else's rubric and somebody else's what they feel like today. So I'll take just confidence, feeling comfortable in my skin, knowing that I strive to be in integrity with what I say I value, which usually will require that we get into action about something. And then the health. We're at our most attractive when we're healthy. See, I need the simplicity. I need the simplicity. So I live in an apartment now. I'm learning this. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, my first crops over almost 30 years ago were sprouts. With sprouts, you can't tell me. I've always known that you can't tell me I can't. I was determined to grow some food even inside of a small city apartment. I can't tell y'all legally to do it, but I was growing on the fire escape till somebody blew the whistle on me with my tomatoes. Actually, if you go further on this channel, there's a puppet series. If you haven't seen it, it's called Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Learn to Eat Better. And you'll see my herbs and my tomatoes that started on a little fire escape. So I was just determined. I was like, for some reason, I was like, I got to be able to grow my own food right here, right now. So you could usually see me in Brooklyn, going to the food co-op with all kinds of the cans that the brothers play in the train station. I had those big tubs from the olives on the handlebars of my bike, looking like I'm running away from home, because I was determined. I had my sister help me drill holes in it. Then I'm trucking dirt. I even got one of those attachments that people put their children in. I don't know why they put them in the back of the bike, but anyway, I would put soil. We got an attachment for a little baby carrier, and put groceries from the food co-op and put soil in the back of the baby carrier. See, everybody has their priorities. The lifestyle, it works for me. The bicycle, the fun, the activity. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. You're looking at the city from a whole nother perspective on the bike. So similarly with the guilt and the shame, I invite you to consider, and that's what we're exploring in this particular video coaching. So not everyone has been able to participate in the cocoon. Yes, I get it. I'm an early riser. That's not going to change. You got to catch me in the early hours. I'm an early bird. And so now it's daylight savings time. So now it's only 1 hour difference from the States. So the cocoon, that's before was at 2 o'clock in the morning for me. So that was 4 o'clock in the morning for you all. So if you got up at that early, and then fitness is early in the morning. It's hit it and quit it. I may add another class there, but if you can catch me early in the morning. So the video coachings I'm making available, and I will be, when I finish with this live, I'm going to put the video coaching for today for guilt and shame, fasting, and weight loss, which I like to call weight release. That's going to be available today. So that's what I can do to make sure that I put some more tools in place. So do feel free, if you don't have a copy, if you cannot get to me, I literally put all the questions I thought people would ask me inside Whole Living Foods, part 1, with menus to fit your budget, with pictures and all that other stuff. How I dealt with the acne. Face was looking like the sidewalk. That's a natural beauty, no products, only food. My hair was not locked in. You'll see how fine it is. I was trying to work and make it look puffy. Yeah, I put that together because I felt like if I had to ask me questions, you can save so much time. So many supplements I poured down the drain. I just didn't need it. It doesn't have to be expensive for us to eat healthy. However, I think a big blind spot that we're missing is the blind spots. Why we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating, and how we're eating. When I say how, the frame of mind that we're in when we're eating, if we're rushed, if we're not present, if we're in front of these screens that are triggering us, trigger, in a state of triggeration. So the more I'm unapologetic about creating support for myself. Support works. I'm big on, that's a priority for me, is support. So I've always had all kinds of coaches, even as a coach, even as a personal trainer, even as a fitness competitor. I'm unapologetic about coaches. If my business executives, if my clients, they can have coaches, and the president can have a coach, I can have coaches too. Just like Olympic teams and athletes. So those coachings are going to be available on body-culinary.com. The guide can answer a lot of questions with pictures, and I give you ideas about what I've been eating all of these years, so you don't have to be on the whole stroll with a diet. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't need all these supplements. Don't. The supplements, maybe some people do, but for the most part, the supplement is saying that your eating patterns are already deficient. If we have to put so much supplementation, at least a bare minimum, I just feel more comfortable Grandma Lou style, with fresh whole food that I can recognize. I feel satiation with the whole food. It's a big difference. Even living foods, there are some big distinctions. And we don't need all the labels. We don't need one more thing to divide us. And we don't need to divide ourselves from ourselves and keep beating up on ourselves. It's ineffective. Actually, beating up on yourself is going to make you go run for more ice cream and vegan cookies, and you'll have vegan acne. So I wanted to send you all some warm, positive vibrations. Do check out that coaching. That's where I will be parking, looking for other ways to park content if you're interested in coming down for a visit to Central America. Oh my gosh, I've been traveling a lot. I've been to some beautiful places, some caves, pools, beaches inside caves, sitting in a hut for a week unplugged with no access to social media. I have never heard the ocean like that in my life. So the stars are in my face like this. I was sleeping underneath the stars, watching shooting stars. Altering experience. I mean, the beauty. I just feel like nature, like really seeing some magnificent waterfalls. And I'm like, if I had not been making deposits into the 401k of my body, there's no way I would have been able to keep up with my son, or to be going down to these waterfalls and jumping in these little boats to go across these rivers. So the time to start investing in your 401k of your body temple is now. I mean, it was yesterday. How we don't need to beat up on ourselves. We want to make it a beautiful experience, a learning experience. Give yourself space and permission and awareness. The awareness, I can't emphasize enough the awareness. It is a muscle. It's intangible. It is something that you can cultivate. All right, so I'm going to jump off here. Today is market day. I've been entertaining folks visiting for a while, and it's all been about in the garden. I've been taking a fantastic permaculture class. I'm still learning. I just learned so much about the pH in the soil, urine in the soil as for fertilizer. For those of you who have started your garden, I can't stop. I'm a forever learner. I'll admit it. I'm a forever learner. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose, just because you said so. Just because you said so. If for no other reason, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'll check you out on bodyculinary.com. I'm looking to test out again. We did a test run for the Discord because there are some things I think we could deserve to have more of a private space other than YouTube, especially when it comes to the cocoon. So not everybody has access. You're welcome, Ayo and Carolyn and Jaleesa. Y'all create a great day on purpose, and I will see you soon.